Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Ryan Monaghan with the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. I am the Assistant Sheriff, and I'm here on behalf of Sheriff Christina Corpus today. So our role in this is to support fire's efforts, primarily in ensuring evacuation and safety for the folks in the immediate area. So when the call came out, our deputies were immediately dispatched to the area. They responded to the scene. We sent deputies from bureaus all over the county. So we had not only deputies that are assigned to the North Fair Oaks area, but deputies assigned throughout our county immediately start responding when we learned of the alarm and the structure that was involved. Deputies quickly got here to the scene. They assessed the need for evacuation, worked with our partners at fire. We set up a unified command post with the fire department so that we could work collaboratively with them and assist them in safety measures. So once we got here, we realized that we were going to need assistance. We're very fortunate here in San Mateo County that we have a very, very strong allied agency partnerships, and we were able to reach out to those allied agencies in the area, and they immediately sent resources to assist us with the evacuation efforts. As of right now, we have an estimated 50 people or so, residents from the adjacent area or in the general vicinity, that some of them were evacuated for precautionary reasons because of their proximity to the fire. Some of them were evacuated because of some of the embers that spread and touched some other locations in the area. So right now we have those folks evacuated. We're very happy to say that those folks are safe. That's our primary concern here, is making sure that our community members here are safe. And our Emergency Services Bureau we have that helps with these types of incidents is working right now hand in hand with the Department of Emergency Management, which is a county department, to find a suitable evacuation point or location for our evacuees to go so they can get the resources that they need. So we're working diligently behind the scenes right now, and we'll be providing updates on where that location is. We're just asking the public right now. The fire department is doing an outstanding job right now, controlling and containing this fire. And so our primary goal here is we want to keep our community members safe. And so we're asking you all, in order to do that, to please stay out of the area. Please let the fire department personnel, our deputies, and all the rest of the first responders out here that are committed to the safety of the scene do their job. And we will be providing updates in a very timely manner to keep people up to date on the evacuations and any other information. Thank you.
It looks like, from a language viewpoint, that you're making progress. Also, from this vantage point, it looks like 3 buildings. You talked about 2. It looks like, can you clarify that for us as well?
Sure. Yeah, yes, we are making good progress on it. Yeah, it's basically burning all the wood, timbers, and structural members from the interior out. So the fire started on the north end of the building and then was pushed by the winds, basically all the way over to this side. I know from here it looks like there's multiple buildings involved. It's one building that looked like it was either an L shape or kind of a U-shaped building. So, and then there's a building closer to us that's also under construction. That one is not involved. We're working on structure protection with that also. So it's just one single building that's been involved. It's just a rather large building.
And the difficulties you're having, we're seeing scaffolding falling. What are some of the big issues you guys are having?
Sure. Right. The big challenges initially are, there's no firewalls in there. They haven't been constructed yet. So it's just a tinder box, and the fire spreads pretty quickly. We had some decent winds kind of pushing the fire through the building. We recognized early on that this was going to be an exterior attack, as we call it, defensive, because there's almost no way to stop it, and we want to ensure that we don't harm our firefighters also. So, that's our current plan, is to stay back far enough so if it collapses, we're out of the collapse zone. It's one thing we don't want to do on a building that's already been determined a loss, is to hurt anybody, injure anyone. So just like I had said earlier, exposures are our primary goal. Protecting those, that's the building under construction, and then the neighborhood just to the south.
Steve, can you talk to me a little bit more about these spot fires that you say you're fighting?
Sure.
Where exactly are they, if you know, and what mutual aid did you get from what?
Oh, sure. Yeah. As the sheriff was saying earlier, our mutual aid system up here is very robust. The initial response from all of our allied departments in San Mateo County was robust. That's where the 26 engines and 7 ladder trucks came from, is all just here internally. We have the 10 additional engines coming from a mutual aid partner, Santa Clara County to the south. What was the rest of your question?
Spot fire.
Oh, the spot fires. Yeah, the spot fires in the neighborhood. It's interesting. I was walking over through there, and there was large pieces of insulation that had melted, were on fire, caught part of that thermal column, and floated into the neighborhood and were causing fires anywhere. In a grass lot, in somebody's collection of items there, on roofs, and it was just kind of indiscriminate throughout the community over here. So those are the spot fires that we're dealing with.
And you said fire and the insulation was the first report. Obviously, you can't really tell the cause, but are you still thinking that it was not a piece of equipment that was left on?
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we have fire cause investigators out here right now. Hopefully there were eyewitnesses to it. That will be helpful for us in determining the cause. Those were just the initial reports. Whether they're accurate or not, I can't attest to those. But those were the initial reports. So, and as we know, on a construction site, there's usually quite a bit of equipment. Sometimes there's hot work going on. So, but we'll do a thorough, diligent investigation and report back to you when we have a cause.
And it was fully operational. They were working at the time.
Yes.
Can you talk and kind of touch on this, but just how dangerous the risk of embers spreading is? I mean, we just saw worst case scenarios, I guess, in
Sure. I mean, it's what we were dealing with here. It's very interesting. Typically, on a large structure fire, we're not dealing with structure protection in the neighborhoods next door, but it reminds us a little bit of fire season and wildland fires. The embers, whether they're from insulation or from vegetation, really work just the same. And so here we are in the middle of a urban suburban area dealing with what we saw yesterday in San Joaquin Valley is fire spread through embers and winds. So those are obviously our two biggest threats right now.
Can you tell us if any of the scaffolding is falling, any of the planks? Is any of that collapse?
I think some of it has, not very much of it.
Is there a risk with the crane?
Whether or not any of the scaffolding has come down.
And with the crane, is that like a risk also with fire burning around it?
There's not a current risk. It would be a big risk if the fire spread to that building that the crane is next to. Right. The crane is in the uninvolved. It may still be a housing building, but it's in an uninvolved separate building.
Last question. There were any workers inside the building when the fire started?
As far as I could tell, when I got here, they were all evacuating. It looked like there was well over 100 construction workers, so I would imagine there were. Like I said, we'll see whether or not we had any eyewitnesses to the fire start.